what is the biggest lesson that you have in terms of, or what advice do you have in terms of running people?
It's way easier than most people make it. We had developed crews with crew chiefs, and we developed project managers. And so I was filling the role as a project manager. I had a bunch of crews under me. And the other project managers always have problems with their crews. And I would say there's only two pieces on the board. You have to decide what they have to do and what they can do. People do whatever they have to do. This morning for breakfast, some people had bugs. You know why? Because they had to. It wasn't like their first choice, but it was, I'm going to eat these bugs or I'm going to go hungry. And then somewhere there's somebody speeding down the highway right now at 120 miles an hour because he thinks he can. People do whatever they think they can. People do whatever they have to. So as a person in charge of other people, now this is much easier in the Navy because you own those people. They don't just work for you. They're yours. If you don't want them to have a weekend, they don't have a weekend. You can't do that as a civilian, but you can still implement these two pieces. What do your guys have to do? Like our guys would go run title. If we're trying to lease up land for a company to drill on, you have to run title, find out who owns the mineral rights. My friend Debbie would say, well, my guys, they show up at the courthouse at 11 o'clock. I said, well, they have figured out they don't have to be there at 8 when it opens. And my guys are there at 8. Well, how do you do that? I said, because they have to. How'd you do that? I said, I was there at 8, and everybody who didn't come in, I fired them. You have to. And that only lasts a week. But if you go there the week later and fire a couple more people, then all of a sudden they're there at 8 for the next few months. If you're okay with them having 2 beers at lunch, let them know. But if you come back to the courthouse drunk, or if you go try to buy a lease from somebody and you're drunk at their house, you're history. It's easy to say, a little more difficult to do because you have to implement and enforce this, but give people a really clear understanding of what they have to do. You have to do this. And then we had people working in offices, and I have to tell them, I said, I know you've been here all day, and I know the problem is that you think your job is to be here, but it's not. Your job is to produce stuff. So you have to produce stuff, whether it's reports or you need to precept this or you need to process these leases, whatever it is, that's your job. Your job is not to be here. Your job is to push this process forward and figure out how you can help. If you do that, we're fine. If you don't do that, you're going to be looking somewhere else, starting real quick. You say it nice, but if people think you're kidding, they're not going to do it. Those are the two pieces. People need to know what they can do, and they need to know what they have to do.